welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a good show lined up for you today. We're going to start it off with Gainesville Sun beat writer Robbie Andreu, second portion of the program. We're going to have our first Florida State Seminole join the show, my former high school teammate, Kez McCorvey, who's an FSU Hall of Famer. But in the meantime, we're going to go straight to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by the Gainesville Sun's Robbie Andreu. Good morning, Robbie. How are you?
Good, Shane. How are you?
Doing well. Robbie, let's first of all, hope you're doing well. This is the first time we've had you on the program. We appreciate you joining us. You staying safe, my man?
Yeah, doing it. We went on vacation last week to the mountains, but we were up in a cabin way up high, so we were okay. But I'll tell you one thing, nobody up there wore a mask. It was unbelievable.
Okay. Did you see any wildlife up there?
Yeah, a few deer. That was about it.
Okay. Well, Robbie, yesterday Scott Strickland had a press conference with a lot of the media. Just kind of let people who didn't get to hear it or see it or have read anything about it, what basically he had to tell you at that press conference.
Yeah. Well, Shane, the one thing that was kind of stunning is that he announced he, tested positive for COVID-19. And, he said it wasn't serious. The symptoms were mild and he recovered. But, they've had athletes, I think it's 29 now, have tested positive for COVID-19. And, the main crust of his thing, Shane, was that, you want to play football in the fall. They're planning to do that, but they're kind of running out of time here as to whether they're going to be able to do it or not. And he's like everybody else around the country. You just don't know right now whether we're going to have football in the fall or if it gets pushed back to the spring or if we have it at all. So it's a really big unknown right now out there whether we're going to have football.
I know they changed the date, the conference did, to was it volleyball and soccer? What was it?
Yeah, volleyball and soccer.
August 1st. Now, do you think there's a possibility that those sports could be played but not football?
I don't know, Shane. With football, you've got so many players involved and they're all on top of each other, sweating and breathing on each other. So maybe, I don't know. But, the thing that was kind of stunning to me talking to Strickland is, they've talked about scenarios about the swamp, how many people they can get in there. And if we've got social distancing, he's talking about maybe at most 20, 25,000 fans, which would be really weird.
Yeah, it'd be very strange.
It's like you lose your home field advantage.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And we do know that, like the Big Ten, we don't know if the Big Ten is going to play football or not, but they have mentioned that they're going to conference-only games. I understand why they're doing that because then you can kind of control the testing and what goes on within your conference. But I'm not the smartest guy in the world, Robbie, but it makes no sense to me why, let's just say we do play football in the SEC.
Yeah.
Why we can't play Florida State, which is the closest university to UF.
Absolutely.
Why South Alabama, which is a 4.5-hour, 5-hour bus ride for them, they get their payday. Because I'm one of these guys that I understand most fans, all they care about is the Power 5 schools.
Yeah.
I look at it from just a guy who loves football and loves young athletes getting to go and fulfill their dreams. And the South Alabamas, the Troys, the UABs of the world, if they don't play these SEC type schools, those programs are not going to make it. And we're talking about a bunch of kids that have a lot of talent. They may not have been big enough, strong enough, fast enough, whatever, to play in the SEC Power 5. But those are ruining kids' opportunities because when you look at the NFL is not made up of Power 5 players. It's made up of a lot of
from all over. Yeah.
From all over. So I just have a big problem with that, and I understand why they would want to only go conference only. But these mid-majors, however you want to phrase it, they're not going to survive because, I think you saw the report in the MAC. The MAC is losing $17 million because of all the games canceled with the Big Ten. Kent State is losing almost $6 million because they were supposed to play Alabama, Kentucky, and Penn State. So it just bothers me. I know there's nothing I can do about it, but do you think the SEC, I'm just blowing smoke right now.
Yeah.
Do you think the SEC, if they do try to play, is going to be conference only?
I don't know. And to me, Shane, I don't see why it makes that much sense to do conference only. If you're going to travel, you travel. It doesn't matter if it's 2 hours or 3 hours. And like you mentioned, these smaller schools, they rely on this payday. If they don't get it, they're going to go broke. They're not going to exist much longer. And then you talked about the players on these schools. They live for these opportunities to play against the Florida, Georgia, Alabama, even though they're going to be outmanned or whatever. But they look forward to that. And to take that away from them, it pretty much ruins their season, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to just go conference only. I don't know if they'll do it or not. They seem to be reluctant to pull the trigger on that right now. But the thing with FSU, Strickland said yesterday, they're going to play. Florida and FSU are going to play. If there's a football season, they're going to play. So it's a game that has to be played. It's a great rivalry game. The state needs it. Both schools need it. So even if they play football, I'm pretty sure Florida State and Florida are going to be playing.
Did anything else come out of the press conference other than just him talking about him having COVID-19 and just the status of football? I mean, any other points that kind of caught your eye?
Well, he also mentioned the Florida-Georgia game, that there's been zero talk about moving that out of Jacksonville, if there was a season. So that game is going to stay there if they play, which is good. And he talked about how, football players, they've had somebody's been quarantined throughout the summer off and on, but, they haven't been hit real hard by it. I think maybe a dozen players have had it and recovered or are recovering. So, he just talked about how they worked with UF Health to make sure that they've got everything in order. So if there is football, it'll be safe. And, they're doing all they can now, I think, in the off-season conditioning, like Luke is in now, that they're separated in that weight room with the doors open of the indoor practice facility. And, they're doing everything they can right now to keep this thing under control and give themselves a chance to play this fall.
Yeah, because, with student athletes, they're in such good shape. And obviously it's a crazy virus. But for ones that everybody that I know that has had the virus, it's been not even as bad as the normal flu.
Yeah.
Robbie, we're speaking with Robbie Andreu from the Gainesville Sun. You can follow him on Twitter at Robbie Andreu. I'm a sports guy, not a whole lot's been on TV. I've obviously watched the PGA Tour. I think they've done a tremendous job. They've had people with COVID that they've had to sit out and quarantine. Yeah. But I watch a lot of this every summer. It's been going on for about 6 years. The basketball tournament, the TBT, I don't know if you're familiar with it, where alumni teams play for $1 million. And it's been going on for 2 weeks. They were all quarantined or in a bubble or whatever you want to say in Columbus, Ohio, I believe, in an arena and a hotel. You weren't allowed to go anywhere else. And they usually have 30, 40, 50 teams. And they only had 3 people test positive the whole time. And it ended, I think, last night, or maybe I saw a replay, but Marquette won it, the Golden Eagles.
Yeah.
But that made me feel kind of good because there were tons of athletes in this tournament. And it went on for quite some time, and they ran it very well. And, it's just like the NBA. Russell Westbrook tested. People are going to test positive.
You're going to have to deal with that.
You're just going to have to deal with it. So I don't know if that's good what the TBT did, but I think, with Major League Baseball starting here soon and the NBA, I think that's going to be very crucial to see how that is run for college football.
Yeah, and Shane, Strickland mentioned that yesterday, that they're going to really pay close attention to what's happening with baseball when that starts up and with the NFL. And, they can learn a lot from that, how to handle this thing. And, the other thing he said, Shane, and it's true, with college football, you can't put it in a bubble like the NBA has done in Orlando. You just can't do it. It's too widespread. There are too many involved. So, but yeah, the thing with the basketball tournament, like you said, to have that many there, to have only 3 positive tests, that's encouraging. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Well, Robbie, let's talk. We haven't had you on, but I guess it's been about a month now. The president talked about how they with the crazy world we're living in now, they've banned the chant Gator Bait. You've been around here a long time. I just want to get your thoughts on banning Gator Bait.
Yeah, Shane, when I was a kid and would go to games, when the other team would come on the field, the fans would chant Gator Bait, Gator Bait, and to me, that seemed like a harmless cheer to me. And it did until this thing came up. And when I saw the origins of it, I was a little bit shocked by it. And I don't think that cheer was created because of where it came from, the origins with, using black babies as bait for alligators. So, but to me, in this, the time that we're in right now, I guess he felt like he had to do it. And I know there's been some backlash from a lot of fans, but hopefully that people will calm down and just have to accept it, because change is coming in the world. And that's one of them, even though maybe a lot of people don't like it. It's just something that he felt he had to do, and we're just going to have to go with it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk.
I know Lawrence Wright was upset about it because, if you ain't a gator, you gator bait. But I get that.
I'm somewhat upset about it as well. But it is what it is. I still think there's going to be plenty of people doing the Gator Bait chant.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt.
Obviously, the band will not be leading it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure some fans will figure some way out. Let's talk a little football. I want to say this week would have been SEC Media Days, or maybe it was last week. I can't remember.
No, it was this week. In fact, Florida would have been there on Monday, Shane. So we'd have been right in the middle of it right now.
Yeah. So, all the publications are out now. We don't know what's going to happen, but right now, many people expect Florida to play Alabama in Atlanta. Your thoughts? Do you think the Gators can take over the Bulldogs?
I think they can, Shane. I think it sets up pretty well for Florida right now. You've got everybody coming back on offense as far as quarterback, and then I think that the receivers, and you talk to Mullen, he thinks they're going to surprise a lot of people, those freshmen that redshirted last year. I think they're going to play really well. I think the defense, Grantham's got a lot of fast, physical athletes. They're going to, attack teams like they have been doing. I just think that it's set up. If Florida's going to get Georgia, this is the year to me, and I think that's one reason I think Florida really wants to play this season. I think they have a great chance to, when you look at the schedule, to win out and get to Atlanta. And, the college football playoff, I don't think that's beyond, I think that's attainable maybe.
Yeah. Robbie, I don't know how much you follow recruiting, but I want to say, obviously, Florida, from the offensive line standpoint, we got the graduate transfer, or just the transfer from Mississippi State, the big offensive lineman. But I read somewhere we're looking at and have a very good chance of landing this big offensive lineman from Virginia. Have you heard about him?
Yeah, I saw that the other day on Twitter, Shane. He looks like a heck of a prospect. But, the transfer you're talking about is Reese from Mississippi State, whose brother David Reese is a freshman linebacker, redshirt freshman. But you look at that kid, he's played in 34 games. I think on a line that has a little lack of experience, I think he's going to step in and start and be a major factor for him. And you've got to think, Shane, that the line's going to be better than it was a year ago, just because those guys have all played now. And if they can get any kind of a running game going, I think Trask will put up huge numbers in the passing game.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see, Justin Shorter, did he get his waiver through the NCAA?
He's still waiting, Shane. But, if you talk to people around there, he's a physical freak kind of. He's a big, fast receiver and runs great patterns, apparently. So they think he's going to be a heck of a player, hopefully this season.
Yeah, because that's where I was going with this. And help me out here, and you probably don't have the answer. When these kids are transferring and they petition the NCAA or whatever to be eligible to play right away. JT Daniels from Southern California, just decided to transfer, seems like a couple of weeks ago, to Georgia.
Yeah.
He's already eligible to play. You got these other kids, Joey Gatewood, who's from the Jacksonville area, who was at Auburn transferring to Kentucky a while ago, still waiting to find out. And then Justin Shorter, we don't know if he's going to be eligible. I don't understand what the NCAA does.
I don't either. And neither does Mo when you talk to him. And look at Brendan Cox, the transfer from Georgia, Shane, a 5-star guy. He waited months to hear, and he never did hear. So he finally had to just redshirt last year. They were hoping he would play and contribute last year. And, they just dragged their feet, never made a decision. He redshirted. Now he's good to go this season. But, yeah, some guys get it right away. Others don't. And, Justin Fields at Ohio State, he goes up there. He gets it right away. Other quarterbacks do. And then you mentioned Gatewood. He's still waiting to hear. And the kid that transferred from Georgia to Tennessee, I can't remember his name now, a 5-star guy, he's been waiting months, too, to find out if he's going to be eligible this year at Tennessee. So there's no rhyme or reason to how they do things up there. And it frustrates coaches. It frustrates the players especially.
Yeah. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Robbie Andreu of the Gainesville Sun. Robbie, we got a comment here on Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law, where you matter most. Rick says athletes are less likely to die than old people with a medical issue, and fans are more of a threat to spread the virus than athletes who are tested regularly. I do agree with that 100%.
Well, yeah, I do too, Shane. Definitely. The players, they can handle it well, I'm sure. But if they spread it to the fans and they spread it to other people around the country, then you lose control of this thing. So you just got to be real careful how you mitigate this thing and keep it from going crazy. And, the worst thing that happened to our country, this region of the country, was Memorial Day and then the 4th of July, because people got out thinking things were okay. And then after what followed was a big spread of it. So you got to be careful how you do this and putting a large number of people together. And that's why if there is football in the Swamp, it's going to be not in front of a whole lot of fans. So, Shane, I don't know. What's your feeling? Is there going to be a football season? If you had to answer now, what would you say?
Gosh, it changes, I think, every other hour.
Yeah, it does.
The other day, I guess it was yesterday on the show, I basically said I didn't think they were going to have college football this year. And I don't have a reason why. But today I woke up and I feel more optimistic that they are. Like I said, I'm not a smart guy. I don't know. I'm not a medical guy. But I know multiple people that have had the virus.
Yeah.
They've ranged from anywhere from 17 to 45. And it was like a day or a day and a half. And they all said that regular seasonal flu was much worse. Not trying to minimize anything.
No.
But I just don't think, whether we play college football I'm fine with no fans. It'll be very strange. And as you mentioned, there'll be no home field advantage. But I just think for the age bracket that these athletes are in, that I think, they go play. I just think universities need it, not just athletic programs. I think universities, because I firmly believe a lot of institutions may not make it if we don't play college football this year.
Yeah, I agree, Shane. Financially, a school like Florida could withstand a year without football, but there's so many others out there that would go broke with this whole thing. I mean, lose millions of dollars. And like you said, the players, there's no question. If you polled them, 100% would want to play the football and take whatever risk they have of getting this, knowing they're going to get over it. And the thing is, Shane, if there's no fans, fine. The TV revenue would keep everybody afloat a little bit through this year and then get to next year. So, yeah, hopefully, we get the games. It doesn't matter about fans, but just get the games on TV so we can watch and the schools can get their money.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest –
and the players can play.
Right. That's the thing for me is being a former athlete and then coaching high school kids and understanding what their dreams are. It's almost like a state of depression when I sit here and think about, let's just use Kyle Trask, for example. He's going into his senior year, coming off an unbelievable year. If he doesn't have that opportunity to play his senior year, what does he do? Do they do what they did with the spring sports, come back, allow those kids another year? If they do that, you're going to lose the Trevor Lawrences and
oh, yeah.
Big-time guys who don't go pro. But the college experience, there is nothing like it. And that's why, unfortunately, we're not going to have a normal college football season regardless.
No.
And that bothers me too. Then you got to decide, the reason we suit up is to win a championship. Well, if this conference is only playing 7 games, this conference is playing 9 games, I don't know how you're going to figure out who goes to the 4-team playoff. So there's so much up in the air, and it just bothers me just because I love college football. I love these athletes having an opportunity to fulfill their dreams, and it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Shane. I feel the same way about the sport. And, like you said, Trask, all these guys, they're going into their senior year, looking forward to maybe playing for a championship. If they don't play, they're going to be guys that aren't going to get drafted or aren't ready to be drafted. Then you're going to have a backlog of players because you're going to sign another class. How do you handle all that? It's just a logistical nightmare. And, it's just a huge nightmare for the players and maybe even a bigger one for us, the fans who just love watching college football. To not have that would be such a hole in so many lives. It's just hard to think about, but it's something we think about every day now. Like you said, every hour, your feelings change about it just about every hour, wondering whether you're going to play or not. So right now I'm feeling like maybe they're going to play. Hopefully they're going to play, and I'll go from there. But the next 2 weeks are going to be critical, Shane. And, by the end of July, they're going to have to make some sort of decision, the league, about how they're going to do it and what they're going to do. So we're going to know a whole lot more in a couple of weeks. So just going to hang tight till then.
Hang tight. Well, he's Robbie Andreu from the Gainesville Sun. We appreciate you taking the time, Robbie, to join the program. Stay safe, my man, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Shane. My pleasure. I'll talk to you later. See you.
Robbie Andreu joined us on the Tight Number Hotline. At Center State Bank, we put business first. We're the largest community bank in the state of Florida and understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 5 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. Center State Bank, member FDIC. We're going to take our first time out of the program. We come back, we're going to be joined by the first ever Florida State Seminole to join the program, my man Kez McCorvey. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Time out! Time out! Hey, time out! Timeout. There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Area Rug Masters, your number one choice in Gainesville for all your area rug cleaning services. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte.
Bob in trouble, gets ready to throw. Big hit.
Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, The Digital Mortgage Guide, Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, Gator Bait Media, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gators Dockside, Aikido America Martial Arts and After School, Doreen Weavy Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Radware, Style Cuts, Wrap Spot, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Chris Doring Mortgage, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance, MB Listings, and Pomodoro Cafe. If you are interested in promoting your business on this show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the Advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
He's looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown!
Welcome back to a Wednesday morning edition of Otto and Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security Systems Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators come to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Starbucks, and Regal Cinemas, and coming soon, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point. Now we're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by my old high school teammate, Kez McCorvey, FSU Hall of Famer. Good morning, Kez. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Shane. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You're the first Semi to ever come on the show.
Whoa. I'm honored.
You know, Terrell, a lot of people may not know, Terrell Buckley, former Florida State guy, Kez and myself all played on a state championship team in Mississippi. But, you know, Terrell, we text back and forth, but I have yet to set a date to have him on. But how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm just living here in Tallahassee, and I'm working for FCA here in Tallahassee in the North Florida area. And so I'm enjoying myself. I love it.
Good deal. Well, when I have all my athletes on, I like to go back to their younger days. And obviously, you grew up and went to Pascagoula High School. As I mentioned, I was a senior. You were a sophomore.
Yes.
On our state championship team. And I like to tell everybody, we won the state championship basically because of your catch against, I believe it was Clinton, in a driving rainstorm. You laid out and caught a deep ball down the sideline. Remember that catch?
Shane, I do remember the catch, but that is so funny, really, how it all happened. You know, I was on JV. I hadn't played a down all year. I'm over there with the rest of the JV guys. We over there drinking up all the juice. That's our job. Our job was to drink up all the juice. And so we drinking all the juice and watching the game, man. Hey, I got, you know, you balling out, you doing your thing, and all the other guys are doing their thing too as well. And I'm sitting over there drinking juice on the sideline, enjoying the game, like thinking to myself, man, this is a tough game, man. We're in trouble. And I think I see one of the other receivers get hurt, and then next thing I know, another receiver gets hurt, and I'm thinking, wow, they're in trouble. And they call my name, Kez, get in the game. I'm looking around like, who me? For what? And then it's the funny thing about it, Shane. The very first play we called when I get in the game is not some play somebody else, not a running play. It's halfback pass to me.
Yep.
I'm thinking to myself, why in the world would you call a play to me? I hadn't played all year long. And so we called it, and Jamie Otis throws it up, and I catch it on the sideline. And so it was just a crazy deal.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We went on to win the state championship, and you know, it was interesting off that team. We had so many guys go play college ball, several at LSU, a couple of Mississippi State, A lot of them went to the SWAC. You and Terrell went to Florida State. I went to Florida. Talk a little bit about your recruiting process, because Mickey Andrews was the guy that recruited our area.
Yeah.
And obviously he got Terrell to go to FSU, being a defensive back, be the next Dion or what have you. Did you think about going anywhere else other than Florida State?
You know what, really, I mean, honestly, I did. When you went to Florida, you know what, my heart was automatically with Florida, honestly. So when you went to Florida, my quarterback, he went to Florida too. But then when you didn't play, he was all mad. We didn't they doing my boy wrong. I'm not gonna go over there. They not playing Shane. And so that's really kind of, it sounds young, but that's what I was. You were young. And so when my guy went over to Florida, I love Florida. And Florida sent me one of those booklets too as well. And I looked at every receiver and saw all the records and whatnot. But then you didn't play, and I was just like, And so what happened is that it wasn't my choice. That they just didn't recruit me. In high school I didn't produce a whole lot. We just didn't throw the ball after you left. We didn't throw the ball very well after you left. And so I didn't have a whole bunch of numbers to recruit. But what happened for me is this right here. I went to Florida State football camp. We did that every year. My dad took us to Florida State football camp every year. And I went there and I really had a terrific camp. And at that camp, they offered me a scholarship. And back then, it's not like it is now where everybody comes to camp and they see what you do and the word gets out. And so I just went home, and Florida State had already offered me right there at the camp. And then nobody else knew, what was going on or what I was capable of. And we went home and we ran the option.
Didn't get a whole lot of passes thrown your way.
No,
talk a little bit about, what it was like. Because, I mean, we have Gators on here all the time, and they talk about what it was like to play for Steve Spurrier or Urban Meyer or whoever their coach was. Tell everybody what it was like to play for Bobby Bowden. And Mark Richt was your coordinator, right?
Yeah, Mark was my coordinator.
Talk about those two guys.
Well, you know what? Coach Bowden was kind of really just what you see, really. I mean, he was a great guy, great coach. He was fiery. To me, it was kind of a situation where he had so many other guys around him too as well. He never coached it directly. Coach Bowden would always have his little notepad right here. He made sure not to overstep the other coach's authority, especially not in an open public way. And so he would coach through his little notepad. So he'd be in practice. He had his little notepad, and he would write all the different things. And a lot of times he would write about me because I was making a lot of mistakes. McCorvey, you need to tuck the ball away. McCorvey, you need to all that kind of stuff. But he would write on his notepad, and he would give his notepad to the coaches. But I really enjoyed playing for him. He helped me mature as a person. Helped me learn what the hard work is. They worked us there very hard. They cared about us. They loved on us, which is not always the case in a lot of college football. We guys, show that type of care, and I really appreciate the staff there and the coaches there that really cared on you and loved on you. They worked you hard. They put their foot in the butt. They put their foot in my butt, but that made it better. But I knew they cared about me, and so that's what I could say about playing at Florida State. It was great. It was during a great period of time in college football history, just like you were too as well. A great period of time in college football history. So I loved it. Love my coaches.
Yeah. Talk a bit about '93. Y'all win the national championship. Charlie Ward. Is he the best athlete you ever played with? I'm gonna tell you a funny story because Kez, I almost went to Florida State.
Yes.
It was down between Florida State, and LSU for me. And I tell everybody because Charlie and I came out the same year of high school, but I think Charlie had to do a was it Prop 48 or something like that?
Yeah, Prop 48.
Yeah. So I like to tell all the Florida State people, y'all wouldn't even know who Charlie Ward is if I would have signed with y'all. But talk about Charlie. I mean, I know y'all are pretty close. He lives in Tallahassee, but man, what an athlete.
Yeah, man, he was great, man. When I first got there, right, I think he was punting. He was punting, and I didn't know how good I didn't know he was even played quarterback when I first got there because he was punting and playing basketball. And so I'm thinking to myself, who's this punter? And I got red shirt. I wasn't playing either. But every once in a while, they would put him back there, and he didn't run much of the offense. But every once in a while, they'd put him back there in practice, and he would run a boot. And he would run for 70 yards on the field on the first team defense, and they were like, "Wow, who is this guy here? Why he not playing?" And then he'd go play basketball. And then a couple of years later, he came back. He played basketball full time for 1 year and redshirted, and then he came back and he played his getting ready to play his junior year. And we had two guys there, and Kenny Felder and Charlie. And you just lost Casey Weldon. Casey Weldon and Brad Johnson had just gone. So you had two good quarterbacks that just left, and now you have these young guys there. And they were throwing that thing in the dirt, man. They were throwing the dirt over the tree. And so it was a process of us just kind of trying to figure out, man, what is Charlie good at? What kind of offense can we do? We just transitioned from Coach Bowden being the offense coordinator he was offense coordinator for the first 2 years that we were there. And so we just transitioned from his offense to a new offense that we hadn't even discovered yet. We just trying to figure it out. And so we're just trying a bunch of stuff, trying to figure out what Charlie's good at. And then, eventually, as you know, we kind of settled on just no-huddle shotgun stuff. And that was kind of Charlie's lane a little bit, just him seeing the whole field and having a couple of different concepts that we could hang our hat on. But it was, honestly, Charlie was amazing at manipulating defense. Quarterbacks got different attributes. Shane, you were awesome at anticipation. Oh my goodness. The dimes. But you'd be over there, you would throw it like 5 days earlier and it would drop right in time. The ball hitting that spot. But Charlie he was great at manipulating defenders. And so he was great looking off and all that kind of stuff like that. And he was great at just recognizing defense too as well. And so that was one of the things that was great about him, his dad. But then, just it was hard. It's hard for a defense to play. If you can throw the ball pretty decent, it's hard for a defense to play a guy that can also run. Because what are your options? 2-man. You don't want to play 2-man against Charlie Ward because he's just going. You turn your back, he's gone for 30 yards, 40 yards, or 60 yards, and so it's painful. And so people were having a hard time trying to figure out when we were on our game, trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do you blitz them? And we were good enough on the outside to where, most teams didn't want to blitz us and play man-to-man. And so it was a hard deal. And it is, as you know too, Shane, when you're in the offense that's so effective, man, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah. I would probably say, I'm trying to think back, the term dual threat just recently came about. But Charlie seems like he probably was the first, quote, dual threat guy that I can remember. Because he was so athletic back there, he ran around, made plays. But that 93 season, like I said, y'all won the national title. You wear your ring every day, or what you do with it?
Man, that thing is in the drawer, man. That thing is in the drawer. I honestly, Shane, I got a bunch of rings, but you don't get a chance to put them out there, man. It's it's hard to walk around with a big old ring on your finger, and so it's kind of hard. I don't necessarily wear it, but I talk about it a lot, though.
Yeah, exactly. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line. It comes from Joe. He says, I believe Kez had a monster game against the Gators in the infamous choke it goat game. Talk about that your senior year. You had some huge numbers. I'll tell you a quick story. That was like my second year with the Bears. Carl Simpson was the Florida State defensive tackle. We had a little wager, and we were flying to play the Arizona Cardinals. So we had a little later departure from the airport. And I used to have one of them little pocket TVs to take on the airplanes to watch the Gators play on TV. If they were playing on ABC, you could pick it up, and then you'd have to fiddle with it to find another channel as you're flying through the air. But I was talking so much smack to Carl on the bus as we pulled up to the airport. I said, dude, it's 31-3. So he wanted to go ahead and pay me right then. I was like, no, I'll get it at the team dinner. I wanted to jump out of that damn airplane, Kez. I'm watching it. Next thing I know, it's 31-all, and I really wanted to jump out of the airplane. Talk about that game, and I want to know why y'all didn't go for 2 to win it.
Well, I don't know either. And not saying this in a bad way, but we get to that game right, and we're. I mean, I've only lost 5 games in my total career at Florida State. So you're not used to losing, and the games we have lost have been like field goals. Field goals and last second losses. You just don't. And so I'm not used to losing. And so we're playing the Gators, and we coming in, we had success against the Gators my whole career, and so you come into the game and think, okay, we're gonna fight them, and we'll win. We're gonna win the game, and then we come out, man. And oh my goodness, it's like a typhoon of points that are being showered on your head, man. We come out and we run around and we get a field goal, and then Florida comes out and they score a touchdown, long touchdown. We come out, we fill around and don't do anything, punt it. They come out and they score another touchdown. It's like we can't even stop them. But for nothing. It's just, they had great receivers, so they were fast. You guys, terrific offense, all that kind of good stuff. And we just couldn't do nothing, man. Charlie Ward had just left, and I got Danny Cannell, new fresh quarterback in there, man. And we were having a hard time the whole year just kind of getting going, getting some offense being produced. And so we had to turn into a running team as opposed to just a throwing team. And so, man, we are getting handed it to us. UF is dancing on the sideline, and Steve is, smiling and giggling on the sideline. He thinks he's gonna put 60 on us. And I'm struggling, right? I remember this is the funny thing. I remember going on the sideline after halftime. Coach Bowden, Coach Bowden, as much as he can yell, because he doesn't yell a whole lot, but Mark Ritt tells this story about how Coach Bowden, he thought he was gonna get fired at halftime. Coach Bowden, Mark Rick comes to me and said, "Hey, Coach, we're gonna go back to do some no huddle shotgun stuff." And he tells Coach Rick, he says, "Hey, buddy, I don't care what you do.
Do something, right?
Do something. I don't care what you do, buddy." And so we come out of halftime and we try to do some of the stuff that we did the year before with Charlie, no huddle shotgun. We have a little success, work, fumbles. And after he fumbles, guess what? Touchdown Florida again, 31-3. It's like, wow. I remember coming to the sideline like, my goodness, can this happen? I've never been in this situation before. Is Florida just that good, that much better than we are? And I recall walking past one of my teammates, and Derek Brooks, he was talking to Devin Bush at the time. And I just overheard him say, "Make it respectable. Make it respectable. Keep fighting, make it respectable." Because you know what? Football is a quit sport. Somebody's going to quit. And if you quit, you ain't got a chance. And at that time, I was just like, man, just really reeling because, you throw up 31-3. You hit the panic button, or what do you do? And I think our team just decided to continue to play. We decided to continue to play. And what happened is, to me, is this right here is we got, I think, a couple of first downs. And what it did defensively for UF is it made the front four tired because they were killing us. That Kevin Carter and Ellis and those guys, and they were killing us, and we couldn't get nothing going. But I think as soon as we got a couple of first downs and got to sustain the drive, they got tired, and it really had turned into 7-07. And so we were able to now move the ball a little bit, boom, and then guess what? I think just the changes we have made on defense and some mistakes that UF made on offense allowed us to open the door to be able to score and get some momentum and score some points,
And when y'all tied it up 31-all, and you saw the extra point team running on the field, what were y'all thinking as an offense?
We're really not anything. We were thinking about, okay, the next time you get on the field and score points, really. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't think about the strategy of, we need to score points to get. We were thinking about, we got a little time here. All right, maybe we can stop them and score again. Let's just keep playing, basically. And after the game, you're thinking, man, you know what? We could have scored. What that thing to me? But at the time, man, you're just thinking, because honestly, 31-3. 31-3, you getting whooped 31-3, that shouldn't happen. And so, and it turned out.
I'm telling you, dude, I wanted to jump out of that damn airplane going to Arizona. I was so mad. We got a Facebook Live question here brought to you by Meldon Law, where you matter most. I think I know the answer to this, but I could be wrong. Doug wants to know, Kez, are you related to Coach Woody McCorvey?
I am. McCorveys are, most McCorveys are related. We're all from Alabama. We're all from Alabama, a little small town, Peterman and Monroeville up there in Alabama. So most of the McCorveys are related. I don't know many they aren't.
After you got drafted by the Detroit Lions, you played there for a little bit. You played in Canada. Talk a little bit about what it was like playing in the NFL, how much different it was for you than it was in college.
You know what? I tell you this, the football, honestly, when you playing big time football, it changes a little bit, but not as much. The difference between college football and is in pro football is just right here. It's just all, to me, the big guys are all fast. You don't have, there is no defensive end that can't run. There is no linebacker that can't run. All those guys are fast. Everybody pursues. Everybody's smart too as well. You got guys that are highly intelligent, highly motivated guys in the NFL. We sit there and I would get to practice at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would leave about 6 o'clock in the evening, right? So I'm spending 12 hours on football. I watch film all day. I watch practice film. You go in there, I go into the DB room. The DBs have watched so much film on the team they're playing that they end up watching the practice film. So if you're in practice, they're watching you in practice so they can practice better. So it's just the game is, I think the game is you don't have a break. You don't have guys that you can say, hey, you know what, this guy can't play. It's usually, most of the guys can play. Most of the guys are going to be sound, and then you have guys that are super sound, guys that are super students of the game. I played against some great DBs and practice against great DBs that you sit there and you'll learn a lot just from practicing against them, because they just understand. They know when the guy goes flat that you're running the curl. They know how many routes that you have above a certain depth. They know that you only have this on your tree right here, and so they know all those things. And you just really understand that there's some really, really smart guys out here that really understand the game of football, and you get a chance to grow from that. Now, the difference between college football and pro football is that not everybody has that same fire.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, because you get out there, man, and at Florida, at the University of Florida and Florida State, man, the intensity, the passion was so high. The love for the school was so great, and you wanted to be there. You wanted to win for your team, and you wanted to be out there competing. In the pros, it's not always like that. Not everybody's just on fire about that. Not everybody's a team guy. Most of the time, for most folks, it's a business, and people make business decisions. And so that's the difference. And so if you ask me, kids, what do you love more, college football or pro football? Man, obviously college, because your heart's there. In pro football, man, you're trying to conduct this business, man. What's the next contract?
No doubt about it. Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. July is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Kez, you played over in NFL Europe.
Yep.
You played for the Rhine Fire, right?
Yes.
Was Galen your coach?
Galen was my coach.
I'm having Galen on the show tomorrow.
Oh, are you? Wow. Yeah. Galen was fun to play for him. Now, Galen practiced too long, man. Galen was out there for like 9 hours out there.
Yeah, he's old school.
He is old school, man. But I enjoyed him.
Talk a little bit. In 2005, you were inducted into the Florida State Hall of Fame. What did that mean to you?
You know what, man? I honestly, it meant the world. Actually, I was so proud to get an opportunity, because I'd never thought about that for myself. Come out of high school, I really only had a couple of offers. I had one Florida State offer, but and other schools may have backed off because they knew I was so strong on Florida State. But I didn't see this. Coming out of high school, some people see themselves being this right here. I didn't see it. But and then when I left Florida State too as well, I just didn't think about it. So it was big for me as far as going to the Hall of Fame. I was considered one of the best football players, at the school that you are at, and so it was big for me. I enjoyed it. So many people that gave me an opportunity to be here. Obviously the coaches and the people here at Florida State can give me an opportunity to come to school here. But even before that, your dad, he got me and wrangled me into football there and wouldn't let me go. And I'm actually appreciative. That joker sent me to camp, and he actually sent me to camp. He actually, opened the door for me to get to Florida State, because he would take us to football camp and all that kind of stuff. And I probably would have never gone to camp if he hadn't just initiated that stuff. And so I got a lot of people to think about. For putting me in a position to do that. And so it was awesome.
Yeah. So, Kez, after you're done playing, you got into coaching. You coached high school ball for a lot. You coached some college ball. You coached some pro ball in the Canadian League. And you're back in Tallahassee as an assistant at North Florida Christian. What is it about, I love coaching high school kids. I don't know what it is, because I feel like you can really change their lives. But what got you into coaching and what you enjoy about coaching?
Well, what got me into coaching, I feel like I've always been a coach. I used to coach my little brother, and I coached him so good to where he didn't want to play no more. But I feel like I've always been a coach. I feel like I've always been a mentor. And I think that's what coaching is. Coaching is mentoring. Coaching is loving, and so coaching is when you have something that's of value that you want to pass on to someone else too as well. And so I really felt like I had something of value to be able to pass on. For a couple of years, I didn't want to pass it on. I want to tell everybody all the stuff that I knew for some reason. But then I was convicted. A friend of mine convicted me. He said that, if you don't share it, God will take it away. And that convicted me. And I just, and I was just thinking to myself, God, I don't want to waste what you've given me, the opportunities you've given me. And I don't want to waste some of the talents and the skills that you've given me too. And so now I feel like I need to pass it on to anybody I can, really. And so that's why I love coaching. That's why I love coaching. And I love the game too as well. I love the competitive nature of the game. And high school is different than college and different than pros. High school athletes it's a lot of fundamentalism. It's a lot of caring. You have the beginning stages of developing people's confidence, developing their friendships, developing their relationships, developing the process of them learning too. In college it's a little bit different because you're in between. You're still doing that too as well, but you got some high level guys that you can do some stuff with. And in the pros, man, really you got 30-year-old men with you out there, and really it's kind of like your partner. I tell my guys in the pros, I say, you know what, guys, I'm your trainer. I'm like Mick. You're Rocky, I'm Mick. I'm trying to get you to chase a chicken. To get this fight right here. We're working together. And so it's just a different relationship as you kind of progress. In the pros, we're working together, and it's a kind of an even keel. In college, we're working together, but still there's some, there's an opportunity for me to pour into their life as a bigger brother, as an uncle, and as a high school kid is more like a father relationship. I get the chance to father those guys, and because the way they receive the information is just from a father. And so it's just different relationships that you have in different stages, and I enjoy all of them.
Yeah. Well, Kez, you're coaching high school ball now, but I know you're working for FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. You're very involved with that. How long you been doing that? If anyone wants to get involved with FCA up in the Tallahassee area, how do they get involved?
Well, awesome. I got to give a shout out to my man Noah Wilbanks. Noah Wilbanks is the multi-area director in the Gainesville area. That's my guy. He's a football guy too. That's my guy. If you ever get a chance to hang out with Noah, you're gonna love Noah. All right. That is my guy. Down. But so Noah's in Gainesville, but I'm here in Tallahassee. I'm the multi-area director here in Tallahassee in the North Florida area. If anybody wants to get involved, in which we do, we get a chance to impact schools at a crazy level. The best way you can impact any school is really through the sport. The most influential person on a campus is the coach. All right. Just like I talked about your dad, how he influenced me. All right. Coaches influence young men all the time. Okay. And so if you want to make an impact in your school, you want to make an impact in your city, 99% of every child's going to go to school. Okay. And so there's a bottleneck in there. Okay. And then a coach is going to influence, is the greatest influence on the campus. So who influences those coaches? Okay. That influence the athletes. I know I received that as well. My coach, Coach Bowden, influenced me and influenced many people in a great way because of his testimony and who he was. Okay. And I want to do the same thing too as well. So if anybody wants to get involved with FCA here in town, man, all they got to do is this right. They go to our website, northfloridafca.org. northfloridafca.org. Click on that link right there. And then what you do, you get a chance to see some of the things we do, some of the people we are involved with, some of the schools and all that kind of good stuff. But also you can contact me and some of my staff too as well about being involved. You can be a sponsor, you can be a volunteer, you can get involved yourself as well.
That's good stuff, man. You also on Facebook Live, you do some coaching stuff, right? What's it called?
It's called No Legends. No Legends.
Oh, that's not the one I'm talking about. I thought there was another one that you do where you get on there and you talk ball. Is that No Legends?
Well, this kind of is, but it's really just my Facebook page, Shane. I just talk. You know what? That's the thing right here. This is my thing. Everybody talk about quarterback stuff, Shane. Everybody quarterbacks. Everybody
gurus out there. Everybody's a guru, right?
Everybody's a guru, but nobody talks about receiver stuff. Now it's just become the niche thing to talk about receiver play. And so I get on there and I talk about receiver play, but also I get a chance to talk about my faith too as well. So it's kind of a conduit for me to talk about both things. I get a chance to talk about my faith, which I love Jesus Christ, my Savior, but also I get a chance to talk about receiver play too as well, and talk about the nuances of it, okay? Because you got general stuff right here, but then football is really about problem solving, okay? How do I solve a problem, okay? A guy's in front of me, he's playing press coverage, that's a problem, right? How do I solve? What are some tools, what are some principles I can use to be able to get in position where I can win, okay? To get open for my quarterback on the right timing. And so I'm really trying to teach football. I'm trying to teach the concepts. I'm trying to have conversations and have people to start conversations so they can just, develop the game, become more intelligent about the sport.
Last thing for you, Kez. Jimbo Fisher did some good things at FSU. Taggart came in, didn't work out so well. Have you met Mike Norvell? Do you think he's the right guy for y'all's program?
Yeah, I am. I love Mike Norvell. I wanted to play for him. If I wasn't old, if I wasn't too old, I would. I mean, he's a ball of energy. I love his energy. I love how he interacts with the kids. I love his humble heart too, as well. He had a situation where it kind of could have went left, and I love the way he handled that. He came in with a humble attitude right there, and spoke to his guys, and took ownership over all the things that were said, and even in the process of explaining them. And so I've met him. Football is football. You got to go out there and win and get football games. That's part of the deal. You got to produce that. But the things he's done for the people that he's brought in, I thought have been great. I love his staff. I do. I love his staff. I think they're awesome. I think he's hit some home runs. He's managed to pull some guys from different other programs that I think are excellent. And so I'm looking for big things. But you know what? Football is football. You got to play the game. You got to win them games, and that's how people are judged. But I really enjoyed spending time with him and spending time with the guys over there. They're awesome.
Well, Kez, spending some time with us today. I think you have some Gator fans that now have a Seminole that they can root for. You're a good dude, my man, and it's hard to believe we won that state championship in 1987. Man, we're old.
I know you got gray hair, man. I see. If I do this right here, see, I don't look as old.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you and your family stay safe, man. Good luck coaching your son at North Florida Christian this year. Hopefully, y'all get some football in. But we'll stay in touch, my man.
All right, Shane, man. I appreciate you, brother, man. God bless you. Love you.
Sir, that's Kez McCorvey. You can follow him on Twitter at Coach Kez McCorvey. This Day in Sports is brought to you by Area Rug Masters. Don't fight your area rugs. Take them to Area Rug Masters. With their convenient curbside services, you will never need to go anywhere else. Call 352-448-5999. This Day in Sports, let me pull it up. 1980, Johnny Bench hits his 314th home run as a catcher, which breaks Yogi Berra's record. Folks, that's going to be a wrap today, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Make sure you tune into the show tomorrow. It's going to be a good one, folks. We're going to have Jackie Spreads, which is brought to you by Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. He's going to interview Duke Warner, the Gator basketball head trainer. He'll have some great stories to tell. And don't forget, I'll have Galen Hall, former Gator coach, who recruited me here to the University of Florida. So be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.